Allen Lund Company has new offices in Ogden, Utah and Indianapolis, Indiana. Check allenlund.com to reach them.
OOIDA, representing America's truckers since 1973, presents Landline Now with your host, Mark Reddick.
Every time OOIDA holds a Truck to Success seminar, the instructors go over all the basic things you need to do and know in order to run a successful trucking business. That includes discussions of lease purchase deals, buying a truck, whether to incorporate, what kind of corporation works best for you, and so on. And that includes the tax implications of every one of those topics, as well as many, many others. Ashley Blackford will talk with Barry Fowler of Fowler Tax and Taxation Solutions in Houston, who teaches at the course. Also on today's program, women are taking a bigger role in the trucking industry every single day, and as a result, some of those women are being honored for the work they do behind the wheel. One of those honors is the National Private Truck Council's National Driver All-Stars. One of the 27 truckers honored by that program this year was Christie Tilton of Eaton, Ohio. I'll talk with Christie today. But first, the news with Scott Thompson.
Thanks, Mark. Our top story today: a fuel pump problem in several thousand PACCAR trucks has led to a recall. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says nearly 5,700 trucks are affected. That includes several 2025 Kenworth models, plus some Peterbilt 567, 579, and 589 trucks. All are equipped with Cummins X15 diesel engines. NHTSA says the fuel pump barrels may fracture and cause a fuel leak in affected vehicles, which can result in an engine stall. Dealers will replace the fuel pump barrels free of charge. This PACCAR recall is similar to previous recalls over the same issue in several thousand Daimler and Navistar trucks that have Cummins X15 diesel engines. Freight hauled by trucks across the U.S.-Mexico border is booming. According to the latest numbers from the Bureau of Transportation Statistics, truck freight valued at nearly $91 billion was hauled across the borders in August, an increase of 3% compared to a year earlier, and a 4% increase from July. Mexican freight carried those numbers. Cross-border freight hauled by trucks across the U.S. southern border increased by 10%, led by a sustained surge in computer-related freight that began in January. It was a different story at the northern border, however, where another drop in vehicle cargo weighed down the overall numbers, leading to a 5% decrease. The regional emergency issued by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration in the aftermath of Hurricanes Helene and Milton has been extended. That means extended relief for motor carriers and drivers providing direct aid to areas in need through November 26th. That applies to assistance provided in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. A new group of authorities is warning truck drivers to steer clear of yet another detour around the Interstate 40 closures in North Carolina and elsewhere. GPS devices are steering semis toward Highway 30 in Polk County to get around the I-40 closures. But Highway 30 wasn't built for heavy trucks. Signs have gone up, but the Tennessee DOT says they aren't working. It's similar to what's been happening along US 441, a two-lane road with steep continuous grades and tight curves. It's not designed for heavy trucks either, but that hasn't stopped people from trying. Those who get caught face fines as high as $5,000. The House bill that would force federal agencies to think about small business truckers when crafting new regulations has gained another supporter. Congressman Doug Lamborn of Colorado is the 17th co-sponsor of H.R. 7198, otherwise known as the Prove It Act. If signed into law, the bipartisan bill would require that federal agencies consider how new regulations might affect small businesses before moving forward with them. The Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association is among those supporting the Prove It Act. The association says the bill would help keep government overreach and burdensome overregulation off the backs of the men and women behind the wheel who keep our economy moving. To get involved yourself, head to fightingfortruckers.com and click on the Key Trucking Legislation tab at the top of the page. The owner of the cargo ship that slammed into Baltimore's Key Bridge in March has agreed to a $102 million settlement with the Justice Department. The money will solely go toward cleanup costs, not for damages or rebuilding the bridge, which is estimated to cost in the neighborhood of $2 billion. 6 people working on the bridge at the time of the incident were killed. Multiple lawsuits against the ship's owner, Grace Ocean Private Limited, still remain. After years of delays, Tesla says it plans to ramp up production of the Tesla Semi by the end of 2026. During an earnings call, Tesla VP of Vehicle Engineering Lars Moravi said production will begin in the first half of 2026, with delivery starting shortly thereafter. Tesla says its Semi is battery-powered with a range of up to 500 miles on a single charge. Cargo thieves have struck again in Philadelphia. 6 ABC reports it happened late last week in North Philly. The driver of a tractor-trailer told police he was parked behind a Lowe's and Walmart when his truck was broken into. The thieves got away with pallets of Red Bull. Police are looking for 3 suspects who drove away in a gray Dodge Durango. Interstate 5 through Bellingham in Washington state was shut down following a landslide on Sunday. All lanes of the interstate were closed for much of the morning and into the afternoon while crews worked to clear the debris. They were opened back up on Sunday afternoon. New truck stops have just opened up in West Virginia and Texas. The West Virginia location is a TA. It's in Mineral Wells just off Interstate 77 and features 104 truck parking spots. The Texas location is a pilot travel center. It's near the I-35-69 West interchange to the north of Laredo and has 53 spots for trucks to park. And finally, an Alaska-based trucking company has been given the honor of transporting the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree to Washington, D.C. this year. The tree will be harvested from the Tongass National Forest in Alaska. From there, it'll be loaded onto a barge and taken to Seattle, which is where the designated carrier for the tour, Linden, will step in and haul it the rest of the way. More than a dozen public stops across the country are planned, the first this Wednesday in Alaska. The tree is set for delivery on the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol building on November 22nd, followed by a lighting ceremony in early December. That's Landline Now News for today. I'm Scott Thompson.
Thanks, Scott. Congratulations to Tony Smith of Indianapolis, Indiana. He's received the OOIDA Safe Driving Award for 29 years of safe, accident-free driving. That's the equivalent of a car driver going 218 years without causing a single accident. The OOIDA Safe Driving Award program is sponsored by Shell Rotella. And if you're interested in receiving the Safe Driving Award, you can find a link to more information at our website, landlinenow.com. Again, that website, landlinenow.com. Starting Friday, Marty Ellis and OOIDA's tour truck, The Spirit of the American Trucker, will be at the Louisiana Truck Show. That takes place at the Rain Civic Center and Pavilion in Rain, Louisiana. Stop in, say hi to Marty, and join OOIDA for a $10 discount. OOIDA is teaming up with Wreaths Across America to help honor U.S. military veterans. OOIDA will offer the chance to sponsor a wreath for $17. For each wreath sponsored, $5 goes toward the association's annual Truckers for Troops campaign, which benefits veteran organizations and sends care packages to active military personnel stationed overseas. We'll have a direct link to where you can sponsor a wreath at landlinenow.com. The OOIDA Foundation is accepting applications for the OOIDA Mary Johnston Scholarship. The scholarship is available to any qualified child, grandchild, or legal dependent of an OOIDA member. You can find more information or apply at ooida.com. Go to the main menu at the top left of the page, and under Foundation, click on Scholarship Program. The deadline is February 1st, and again, that website is ooida.com. If a carrier, shipper, receiver, or broker tries to coerce you into violating the regulations, document what happened and then either call 1-888-DOT-SAFT or file a complaint online to the National Consumer Complaint Database. Again, that phone number is 1-888-DOT-SAFT, or you can go online to the National Consumer Complaint Database. Next, Ashley Blackford will talk taxes and more with Barry Fowler of Fowler Tax and Taxation Solutions in Houston. And I'll chat with one of the winners of the National Driver All-Star Awards, Christie Tilton of Eaton, Ohio. I'm Mark Reddick, and this is Landline Now.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you want more content, go to landline.media to get updated news, information, and archived editions of our show. Once again, that's landline.media.
Control your toll costs and eliminate tolling headaches with Prepass Tolls. Prepass Tolls means toll volume discounts. Just one invoice for all tolls and fewer violations. Call 877-878-5970 or go to prepass.com.
Are you tired of the IRS following you around like a dark cloud? Call 888-557-4020 and get your life back.
At Truck Stop, we built a better load board for carriers like you. Sign up today and access over 600,000 loads on the most trusted online load board. Learn why the best in the business rely on Truck Stop to make more money and start driving your profit today.
It's tested and proven. Burn 2.1% less fuel when you balance all wheel ends with Centromatic. Call 800-523-8473 to get the OOIDA discount.
Landline Now, welcome back. If you read Landline Magazine, you'll certainly recognize our next guest. Barry Fowler joins me. He is the founder of Fowler Tax and Taxation Solutions, Inc. in Houston. He also pens the Trucking and Taxes column for Landline Magazine. Barry, it's great to have you here. How you doing?
Actually, it's great to be here. I enjoy coming up here and meeting with you guys and working at and talking at Truck to Success.
Yes, and we want to talk about Truck to Success. 3-day seminar. How did it go?
It's been fantastic. I enjoy coming up here because I get to sit down and meet with the truckers, not just during the seminar, but I sit down afterwards in the lobby of the hotel and talk to the truckers that want to come down and talk and ask questions. And a lot of times it's questions they don't want to ask in front of everybody else. But it gets us an opportunity to discuss those and me get to hear the stories about trucking.
And when you did your presentation, what is it you talk about at Truck to Success?
So the first day I'll come out here and talk about lease purchase and how the implications of taxes and depreciation and how you purchase this truck and how it's going to affect your taxes and how we can use it to either lower your taxes or make it beneficial to you to spread it out and do it over a period of time or a number of years for the depreciation. And then we jump into business entities. How should you structure your business? Not from the legal standpoint, but from the tax standpoint. So how are you going to be taxed if you're going to do an LLC? Are you a single member, multi-member? Are you going to be taxed as a partnership, sole proprietorship, or S-Corp? And all the tax consequences and benefits of each one of them. But we also talk about it from a business standpoint. So is it advisable to be an S-Corp versus a sole proprietorship? And is it worth doing from the business aspect of doing this? Do you really want to do all the paperwork that is required for the S-Corp and the extra tax returns? Or do you want to stay as a sole proprietorship? And then what's the difference in the taxes? And then the last session we have is probably the one that everybody really wants to hear is the bookkeeping and tax aspects of being an owner and operator. What can you deduct? What can you not deduct? How do you use the tax system and the tax code to find every single deduction out there? So we kind of talk about, you talk about the rich people, you talk about celebrities and how they don't pay much in tax. Well, they do still pay tax, but they have somebody that's coaching them, planning for them to find every single deduction that the tax code allows you to take. The tax code's your roadmap to save money on taxes. It's not there to penalize you. It's to help you find the way to do it. And you need a good professional to do it, whether it's us or somebody else out there. It's got to be somebody that knows trucking to help you. And that's what we specialize in.
Do you find when you go to Truck to Success, there's a vast array of people who come with different backgrounds. Do you find people are kind of like, whoa, I didn't think all this through. I think some people think you just buy a truck and you're on your way. Are they surprised when you talk?
I think they're surprised at everything that happens in Truck to Success, and I think Louis says it best sometimes. You're here to learn about being an owner-operator and running this truck and every aspect of it. So not just, the taxes or the entity or lease purchase, but everything that's going to happen when you become that owner-operator and you're running that trucking company. And when you come here and learn, you may decide, hey, this just isn't right for me. Money well spent.
Yeah.
Because you came up with the determination, this isn't really what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And others come in and they get their eyes, wide open now to all the aspects of it, and they learn everything they need to do, and they go after it gangbusters to do trucking better. And that really helps everybody from all aspects of it.
I'm curious, what kind of questions did you get both in the seminar and outside?
Well, we got a lot about depreciation, and that gets really complicated. One of them we had last night when we were sitting in the lobby was talking about worker classification. Should somebody be a W-2 employee, or should they be an independent contractor? And if you're running your trucking business, a lot of times it comes down to the 10 rules the IRS has to classify a worker as an employee versus an independent contractor. Control, who's providing the equipment, who's telling you who, what, where, when, and how to do it. If you answer those questions, you can really determine if it's a W-2 employee or their contractor. Somebody asked me that question again this morning. So, it's the important things like that become, really exciting. And a lot of times they're asking, can I deduct this? Mm-hmm. Can I deduct that? And, we look at what's ordinary and necessary per, tax code. But we also look at finding ways to make things that you're spending now, maybe in your personal life, to make it relate to business, something that you've actually got to use in the business, and it becomes ordinary, necessary, and deductible. And we always talk about deducting things pre-tax versus paying something after you've paid the tax. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting to me. I always tell people I try to keep you awake as much as I possible talking about tax code and talking about taxes. But people are awake, listening, and asking questions, and that's the thing I love.
And I know I went to Truck to Success a couple of years ago, and I think there was like a husband and wife team. The wife was the bookkeeper. Do you see that a lot in the years you've come to Truck to Success, that whoever the bookkeeper is comes, which I assume is beneficial to hear from you?
Yeah, we see husband and wife coming occasionally to the show, or somebody bringing their significant other that's involved in their business, and yeah, it's good for them to get the information and know what's going on behind the scenes. They learn a lot about trucking. People have asked me, why do I come up here besides meeting with everybody and learning everything about the truckers that are here? I learn something new every time sitting in these sessions and listening to everything going on when Tom or Margot or everybody from OIDA is out there talking. I come away with something different that I can help my clients that are in trucking, be better at what they do.
What would you say are some of the top questions that you get, not just in Truck to Success, but just maybe on an everyday, every week basis?
Why do I have to pay so much taxes?
I think we all ask that question.
It's the way you vote. I don't know. Tax code is tax code. We try to work through the tax code. The next question we get is, why do we got to make estimated tax payments? Or how can I get rid of the tax debt that I've accumulated over the years because maybe I didn't file, or I didn't file on time, or I just didn't have the money to pay the taxes because I didn't make my estimated taxes, and somebody didn't tell me to do it. Those are a lot of the questions that we get, and we fight the IRS as well to help reduce interest penalties and even get rid of some of the tax in doing some tax resolution.
For those who want to become an owner-operator, when it comes to taxes, how important is it to get some help and not just try to do it themselves?
I think that's one of the most important things, is having a tax advisor or business advisor or somebody like I talk about. I don't talk about things necessarily just from the tax aspect for truckers, but we talk about it from the business aspect. What's the right business decision? There's a lot of tax preparers out there that want to look like your hero and tell you to do something because it looks good for taxes. But is it right for business? And that's what you need, is a sounding board that you can actually talk to, ask questions. So when you're looking for that tax professional or that business professional, or that does both maybe, they need to be very oriented to what you do as an owner-operator and being a trucker. And they got to know trucking inside and out. There's some good ones out there, but vet them, make sure, talk to them, see what they know about trucking before you decide to go to them and use them. Because there's different deductions like per diems that some tax preparers don't even know you can take as a over-the-road trucker. And you want to make sure that you're getting every deduction from what you do in trucking. And that's the only way to know. Because you go to somebody that does general contractors, they're not thinking about what you do as an owner-operator behind that wheel of the truck.
What are some of the common mistakes people make?
Common mistakes, like I said, estimated tax payments, not making those, not taking every deduction that you're actually allowed by law to take, hiring somebody that has absolutely no clue what you're doing in this business, and then not giving you any advice as you go. So you can have a tax preparer and you go to them on April 15th every year to file your taxes, but you hadn't talked to them all the whole year after the last time you filed. Well, they've done nothing for you besides take your information and file taxes. How do I help you on April 15th for what you did last year? There's not much I can do for you. It's going to be, hey, this is your deductions, this is what you've done. But if you're with me all year long, we've done tax planning. We've guided you to find more deductions. We've guided you to do maybe a specialized retirement plan or maybe an HSA plan or finding other ways of putting money aside and away before tax to reduce your tax bill. Trying to reduce your tax bill afterwards becomes a little bit tougher to do. You haven't done any planning.
Now, back to Truck to Success. Do you know how many years you've been coming?
Since we restarted, so I tried to talk to Louie and them and find out when we started this, and Tom, and I think we've been doing this now 7 years.
7 years? Okay.
Something like that. And, it's been really fun and really interesting. And, I think one year we did this on Zoom, and that was the one year that I was like, gosh, I didn't get to meet with anybody. This was impersonal. So if you come to Truck to Success, or you want to come and thinking about moving from being a W-2 driver to an owner-operator, come here, be in person, socialize, talk to your fellow truckers out there, talk to everybody that's from OOIDA that's doing parts of the seminar. Talk to them. They have the information you need, and they're never afraid to share. And matter of fact, they find out when you're there, you find out all the extra benefits of being a member of OOIDA that you didn't realize you had. You have somebody that'll review your lease before you sign on with somebody. You have somebody that'll look at your lease purchase agreement as well before you sign on, with somebody, and they'll tell you the bad things or the good things about it. You get to meet with me, whether it's there at the session, breakfast, lunch, or even sitting down in the lobby like last night having pizza with me, and just be able to talk. If you're afraid to ask a question in front of a whole bunch of group of people, ask it there. You see me walking around the hotel, stop me, ask me. That's what I'm here for. And that's what I love. And I think that's what everybody should get out of this.
I'm curious, over the past 7 years, I know there was probably a couple years in there we took a break, but how has questions changed over the years, or is it kind of all the same?
A lot of it's really similar and the same. We're changing people that are coming, but we're not changing people's thoughts of, oh my God, taxes are so terrible. I don't want to pay anything. Oh my God, I pay way too much in tax. Oh my God, am I classifying this person the right way? Oh my, what are estimated tax payments? Why do I got to pay these? And it's what everybody's thoughts are. How can I reduce this or that and go in that way?
All right. Barry, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in.
It's always a pleasure. I enjoy it, and thank you for having me, and I look forward to always being back here for Truck to Success and joining you here.
All right. That was Barry Fowler talking about taxes. You can check out his column in the latest issue of Landline magazine, or check out landline.media. For Landline Now, I'm Ashley Blackford. Stay tuned for more after this.
Penske owns and operates some of the best-maintained vehicles on the planet. Our used trucks come with a 5-year maintenance report and pre-sale inspection. So if you're in the market for a top-quality pre-owned truck, look no further. Search our inventory today at PenskeUsedTrucks.com.
Capital Reman, the leader in remanufactured diesel engines and components, has partnered with OOIDA to offer exclusive member benefits. Visit CapitalReman.com today to support America's transportation industry and take advantage of your benefits.
When it's time to overhaul your truck engine, help protect it by insisting on a genuine Vibertech TVD crankshaft damper. Heavy-duty, absolute premium quality, and they're made right here in the USA. Find a dealer at VibertechTVD.com.
Women are taking a bigger role in the trucking industry every single day, and as a result, some of them are being honored for the work they do behind the wheel. You're listening to Landline Now, and I'm your host, Mark Reddick. Welcome back to the program. One of those honors is given out by the National Private Truck Council. Each year, that organization recognizes truck drivers for customer service, safety, compliance, and community service. The honor is called the National Driver All-Stars. One of the 27 truckers honored by that program this year was Christie Tilton of Eaton, Ohio, a town of about 8,300 people, just 25 miles to the west of Dayton. I had a conversation recently with Christie about her life, how she got into trucking, and the award that she's just received. Well, let's start with the exciting news here. The National Private Truck Council chose you as one of 27 drivers to receive its National Driver All-Star Award. And first, what was it about you and your career that led them to add you to the list of winners?
I know that with the company that I'm with now, I've always been very helpful with them, and I've always stayed on top of, the safety aspect of it. It's the first company I've worked for that's used the camera metrics, and they've just never, maybe in the beginning coached me on a couple of things, and then have always just stayed within those. I'm a trainer for them, and I'm not really sure other than I just am pretty safe for them.
Well, what does it mean to you to receive an honor like this? I mean, what does it mean in your life?
It was a shocker, especially when a lot of the people that haven't. I mean, I'm not a year 2 truck driver. I've been doing it for about 10 years. But a lot of people that that receive this award, they're 2, 3, 4 million mile drivers, and I'm not there yet. So I was shocked but honored to receive it, and yeah. It was a big honor to go down there.
Okay. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how you found out that this happened. I mean, was it a phone call? Did someone come and visit you at your office? Or kind of what happened that led you to find out that this was something that you had been given?
So my operations manager actually messaged me and said, hey, they're asking for people to nominate for this award from the fleet, and I think that I'm going to nominate you. He said, would you be okay with that? And I was, of course. And then he called me back a couple weeks later and said, hey, you're moving up into this. I don't know that you've won it yet, but they're asking for more information. So he sent over a questionnaire I had to fill out, and then he resubmitted that. And then about probably a month or so later, I got an email saying, hey, congratulations, you were selected, and, we'll get with you on details of when you would go to receive your award.
Let's talk a little bit more about you and your career as a truck driver. Was trucking something you always wanted to do? Did you initially want to do something else to earn a living? I mean, what was your desire in terms of a career, and how did that eventually lead you to trucking?
No, I actually wanted to be a band director. Growing up, I was in marching band for 7 years, and that's kind of the direction I wanted to go into. But, that kind of fell through. And I was working at a company that I didn't particularly like, but it was, paid the bills, and didn't really have a career in mind other than just, working my way up through there. And my grandma actually bought an RV, and I took her and her friends on a trip, and we went out, out west, out to the Redwoods, drove down the coast of California, and came back across the southern half of the country. And I was like, I think that I could do this. And I had a friend who had recently, within the year prior to that, who had went to truck driving school. And that's what he was doing. So I called him up and said, what's the details on this? How does it work? What's it like? And he was like, well, he said a lot of these bigger companies, he said, you can go to them, you'll drive for them for a year, they'll pay for your CDL school, and then, you don't owe them anything. So, I talked it over and mulled it over and was like, well, it's a year. At worst case, I'll try it out for a year. And at the end of it, I'll have a CDL to show for it. And, just fell in love with it and ended up staying over the road for about 3. And then I just came back home to a local job and been going ever since.
I want to talk a little bit about that RV trip that you took. A lot of truckers talk about how they're attracted to this idea of seeing the country through the windshield. Just the whole kind of travel thing as not even so much a profession as just something they love doing. Talk a little bit about your RV trip. Where did you go? What kind of things did you see? And did that kind of lead you toward the trucking idea?
Yeah, we went just up, hit 80 and just started going west. And, and it was a lot of familiar things, a lot of cornfields and flat land and stuff until, we got into Utah. And then, you're like, it's getting dark and you can't really see. So we stop and then you wake up and you're in the mountains and you're like, holy crap, I've never seen anything like this before. And, and it was that kind of, just seeing stuff that you've never encountered and pretty much just traveling along. And I don't know, something about the actually driving down the road. It's peaceful. When the radio's going, you're driving, you're just cruising along and you kind of just get into it. And, and then we just kept on going. We went all the way out. Like I said, we went up to Northern California and then drove down, it was a US 101 down the coast, all the way down through there and just seeing different things. And then like when people get paid to do this, so I tried to do that. I just fell in love with it. It was different than anything I'd ever done before.
Now, I understand that initially when you did get into trucking, you were team driving. Tell us a little bit about that experience. Who was your team driver? How did it work? And did it make the job less lonely?
So my team driver was actually a childhood friend of mine. We grew up together. And she had recently quit her job. She just graduated college. She'd recently quit her job about the time that I was applying. And I think I went on that trip in October and I talked to her and I said, hey, I think the beginning of the year, I'm going to go to truck driving school. Do you want to go? And she was like, well, if I don't have a job by then, yeah, I'll go. So, January rolled around and she wasn't working. I said, all right, well, I'm putting in my application. She was like, cool, me too. She put hers in. They accepted both of us. We went out there at the same time, went through school at the same time, and then came out of school, got put in a truck together. I don't have a lot to compare it to, but it definitely wasn't. People do say that it's lonely being on your own. I never experienced that. But there wasn't a whole lot of downtime, which I think that people on the road get with the being stopped every day. Because we ran teams, so we stayed pretty much, you sleep and you wake up in a different state than you went to bed in at night.
Okay.
So I think it was just a different experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't have anything else to compare it to because I never did it the other way.
As I understand it, when you did get into trucking, you had that initial job. You did work for several other carriers. And then eventually you got into working for a private fleet. How did that come about?
Well, when I came off the road, I actually went to work for Dart Transit on their the same company's private fleet that I work for now. They had a home daily contract with. So I worked on their fleet for the same, hauling the same stuff. And then when this company started up their private fleet, we all just eventually migrated over to it because our jobs got eliminated because they went to the private fleet. So, it was kind of just we don't have anything for you. You can go back over the road or look for another job. And it's like, well, I'm already doing this, so why not try to do it for the people that I've been hauling for already, doing the same thing.
Okay. Now, while all of this is going on, you had some things going on in your personal life. You went from not having your own family to having a family. And I'm kind of curious. I know that eventually you moved from that over-the-road driving to local or shirt haul. What role did having a family play in that decision to make that change?
Well, I came off the road before the family came into place, just because, we were, like I said, I did it it was almost 3 years, and we would stay out for 3, 4, 5 months at a time and come home for a few days and then turn around and go back out. It just it got old after a while being gone so much. I know that people do it for 30 years and they love it. I just don't think I was built for that. And then, and then eventually the family came into play, and I couldn't imagine doing it now. At the beginning of COVID, it was kind of wishy-washy between the old job and the new job. And, it was looking like I might have needed to go over the road, and we talked about it. And, my partner and I were like, we could probably do it for a few months, but I don't know that I could do it for a long-term career being gone that much.
Okay. You pointed out in other interviews that most people don't even make it a year as a long-haul trucker. And certainly we've all heard about the level of turnover in the trucking industry, and especially in the truckload sector. What do you think it is about you that made you able to break that barrier and stay in the industry as a long-term career?
I think that people make it past the year. I just don't think they make it over the road for a year. And I think a lot of it is that, I have another friend who had went around the same time that I started, and he had a young son at home, and it ate him up being gone so much, and I don't think he made it through the full year before he, went home and found a local job. I think that's what happens a lot of times is people, they go out and they're like, I can do this for a year, and then you're missing so much at home that you don't want to continue missing it. You're ready to go back.
Do you think being a woman made it more difficult for you and for other women to make it in what traditionally has been such a male-dominated field?
I don't know that it has made it harder. It is. It has its own set of challenges. I mean, we're faced with the same challenges as male truck drivers are, but with the added that, say you go to a shipper and you're having an issue and you ask for help. A lot of the times, a male truck driver could go and ask for that help and it would never be, they wouldn't get an eye batted at them. But then it's like you're asking as a woman, so you get that, oh, you just can't do it because you're a woman, as opposed to like, this isn't, you need help. So you do deal with a lot of that. It's not so bad anymore. I feel like we've come a long way. I can remember when I first started, the company I was working for hit a threshold of like 3%, female truck drivers. And that was a huge accomplishment, at 3%. And now I think that national average is 12?
I think so, yeah.
So that's pretty high. So it's come a long way since then. I feel like it's probably that way in any male dominated field. You just have to get over it and go like, well, regardless of what you think, I'm going to do it. So.
That was Christie Tilton of Eaton, Ohio, one of the 27 winners this year of the National Private Truck Council's National Driver All-Star Award. After a short break, we'll have more of my conversation with Christie. Meanwhile, if you want to learn more about the award, you can find that information at the website nptc.org. Again, that website is nptc.org. We'll be back in just a moment with more news and information. Please stay with us through a short commercial break. I'm Mark Reddick, and this is Landline Now.
If you're running ultra-low sulfur diesel in your vehicle, make sure you are prepared and protected all winter long with Howes Diesel Treat, the #1 anti-gel product in North America from the 100-plus year trusted brand Howes Products.
truckdown.com. Whenever you have a breakdown, you need truckdown.com. 24/7 access to 40,000 verified heavy-duty repair vendors nationwide. Owner-operators need roadside speed. Truckdown.com.
Firestone tires are for more of everything, with more durability for more miles and more confidence in your fleet. Firestone's tested tires help fleets save with value where it matters most. Learn more at bridgestonenationalfleet.com/4moremiles.
Since you started, what you've loved about trucking is the freedom. Heading out on your favorite route, a good driving song, and thinking about truck insurance. Well, maybe not that last one. That's why we're here. At OOIDA, we have a full range of truck insurance products, expert advice, and great customer service, helping you get the right coverage for your operation. Go to OOIDA.com, because your job is to drive. Our job is to help with everything else.
Landline Now. Welcome back. Before the break, I was talking with Christie Tilton, who works for the private fleet of Procter & Gamble through CPC Logistics, about her being honored by the National Private Truck Council through their National Driver All-Star program. Each year, that award recognizes truck drivers for customer service, safety, compliance, and community service. And this year, 27 truckers were honored. We now continue that conversation in progress. Well, and you mentioned that increase in the number of women in the industry, and certainly we've been seeing similar things, that over the long haul, no pun intended, that more women are in than used to be in the industry. I'm curious, what do you think it is that changed that women, or at least more women, now see this as a potential career option?
I think it's just exposure. I mean, you never heard about it. You never heard about women driving trucks, 15, 20 years ago. They were there, but there were so few of them that you never heard of it. And then as you get more and more, then word of mouth spreads. You have a friend who does it, you have a family member who does it, and you realize that what the job is, and then you realize, you can make really good money, and, it's a good career to choose. Why not go into it? And I think it just makes it less scary that there's other women doing it. If you're, 1 out of 100, it's a little bit more trying than if you're 10 out of 100.
Do you think the change in attitude, or that there has been a change in attitude in the industry that's made it easier for women to get in?
Maybe. But I think that that's just caused by women being there. I think that that's, as more and more get in there, it's just, this is just how the industry is. I think it's with anything that changes in the industry. It's hard at first, but as more and more people get exposed to it, it just is how it is.
Well, let's get back to you a little bit here. What are you doing now in your career? I know that as we mentioned earlier, you went from long haul, you went to private fleet. I think you eventually went to short haul. But what are you doing right now?
I actually went into operations for the private fleet I was driving for. So, I'm helping out with driver issues and hiring, doing a lot of, there's a lot of expansion for the company. So we're doing a lot of hiring and taking care of, when a driver's having issues, we're who they call. If they're having problems with dispatch or problems with their insurance, things like that.
Do you think that experience that you have gives you an advantage in that role?
Oh, absolutely. And I hear it from the people that I hire, every day. My counterpart, he drove for 30 something years. And, and they look at that as that's a benefit, that's a bonus that when you call and you tell me that you're having problems, I understand what you're talking about. When you call and tell me, hey, they've been running me 13 hours every day this week, I just can't do this last run today. I'm wore out. I've been there. I know what that feels like. I know how tough it is to argue and, sit on hold and all, and what it's like to sit and be told to sit in the door. And, I've been there. So, I understand what you're going through, but it also helps with the kind of the more day-to-day stuff with, things as small as tandem sliding and weight problems and things like that to help the drivers, especially as, the boom, we have a lot of newer drivers, a lot of 1 and 2 year drivers, and they might not necessarily know certain things. And a lot of that is just you learn through experience and you learn through, other drivers telling you. So a lot of that I'm able to answer for them from experience, not just from textbook knowledge,
Do you miss being out there behind the wheel? I mean, is that something that you think about a lot?
Some days, on the sunny days, and you're like, man, this would be a nice day to be driving up and down the road. But not too much. I've only been out of the truck for a couple months now, so I'm not sure that it's kicked in yet. So there's just a few days, but I'm sure, once it starts snowing, I won't be saying that. and, well, I didn't have to get up and go drive in it today.
Just to work and back, yeah.
Just to work and back. But I think eventually I'd like to get back to it. Like I said, we got 3, 2 teenagers and a young kid at home. And, it's nice being able to be home a little more and be a little more involved here, because that's the one, one of the major downsides to trucking is it's long hours. It's, unpredictable hours, because a lot of it's you can't control. You can't control traffic. You can't control accidents, and you never know when you're going to get back some days. So, it's nice to just be home a little bit more.
I was talking with Christie Tilton, who works for the private fleet of Procter & Gamble through CPC Logistics, about her being honored by the National Private Truck Council through their National Driver All-Star program. Of the 27 truck drivers who were honored, only 2 were women. Meanwhile, if you want to learn more about the award, you can find that information at the website nptc.org. Again, that website is nptc.org. And we'll have that link on our website, landlinenow.com. Just click on the headline or photo at the top of the page. That will bring you to all the website links, email addresses, and phone numbers we mention here on the show. Again, that's at our website, landlinenow.com. Several other awards are given out to honor truckers and others in the industry every year. Perhaps the most prominent of those honors right now is the T.A. Petro Citizen Driver Award. The award, which dates back to 2013, honors drivers for safe driving, community service, health and wellness, and leadership. Each of the citizen drivers chooses a T.A. Petro location, which is then renamed in their honor. A plaque on site describes the winner and their accomplishments to people who visit each of those sites. In addition, a significant donation is made by T.A. Petro to the winner's charity of choice. Another very prominent honor in the trucking industry is the Goodyear Highway Hero Award. Dating back to 1983, the award honors truckers who put themselves at risk to help others along the road who were in need. Many of the winners saved the lives of others through their actions. The winners are typically flown into the event where the award winner is announced. This past year, that was the Technology and Maintenance Council's annual exhibition, which was held in New Orleans. The winners also received $2,000, a TV, a cooler, and Goodyear-branded items. Another honor that's become very prominent in the industry is the Women in Trucking Influential Woman in Trucking Award, which was developed in 2010. The winner of that award is announced every year at that association's Accelerate conference. However, unlike the others, the Influential Woman in Trucking Award is not limited to people who drive trucks for a living. People involved in other aspects of the trucking industry are also eligible. And of course, the Highway Angel program is operated by the Truckload Carriers Association since the program began back in 1997. It recognizes truckers who perform a good deed or heroic act while on the job. For Landline Now, I'm Mark Redding. If you want to make your voice heard on any of the issues we discuss here on the show, you should call your representative and both of your U.S. senators. To call any member of Congress, you can dial the U.S. Capitol switchboard. That phone number is 202-224-3121. Provide the operator your zip code, and they can connect you directly to the office of your senators and your U.S. congressman. Again, that phone number is 202-224-3121. You can also make contact with those lawmakers by using the website fightingfortruckers.com. At that website, go to the drop-down menu at the top right of the page where it says Contact Your Representatives. You can also get contact information by calling the membership department here at OOIDA. Just dial 816-229-5791 during business hours, and they'll look that information up for you. Again, that's 816-229-5791. That's our program for today. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back tomorrow with more news and information. I'm Mark Reddick, and this is Landline Now.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you want more content, go to landline.media to get updated news, information, and archived editions of our show. Once again, that's landline.media.
I'm a dad,
a son,
a husband,
wife,
I'm a writer,
photographer.
I farm. I'm a veteran.
I love old cars, fishing,
my kids,
chrome, and I am a professional truck driver.
And together we are OOIDA.
OOIDA was founded by truckers to stand up and speak on behalf of truckers. We've done that by combining the individual voices of our members into a single, powerful voice. Protecting your interests, defending your rights.
Join us!
Make your voice heard. Join OOIDA, the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association. Call 1-800-444-5791 or visit OOIDA.com.